Steve Gonzer and I have been blessed to organize this for all the churches. We've had a wonderful positive response, and we hope that you will enjoy all the blessings that God has given us in working together to make this flower show happen. Our theme is Ad Majorem Dei Gloriam, and this is shown most especially in the flower carpet that Steve designed and that we discussed and put together. It encompasses all the crosses of the churches that are involved in the show.
The top part of the carpet is composed of 5 different crosses. The large center piece in red is a Jerusalem cross, and the Jerusalem cross traditionally has the large center cross and 4 identical smaller crosses in the left and right quadrants. The smaller crosses are said to symbolize the movement of the gospel into the 4 corners of the earth. And what we did was we took the smaller identical crosses and replaced them with representations of the different types of crosses used by different Christian denominations. In the top left, we have a round cross, which is representative of the Canterbury cross, which is used by Anglicans and Episcopalians. The upper right-hand corner is just a plain yellow cross that is most commonly associated with Protestant denominations. The lower left corner in blue is a Byzantine cross, traditionally associated with Orthodoxy, and the last one is representative of the Celtic cross, which is used by Celtic Christians and often turns up in Catholic services and Catholic churches in general. The lettering at the bottom, AMDG, is the abbreviation for the Latin phrase Ad Majorem Dei Gloriam, which is the motto of the Jesuit order, which can also be seen in the center of our rose window up above the choir loft. And we just felt that that was sort of a good way to anchor it.
We got this idea when Steve and Christy and I went to Savannah to help with the flower festival that honored Brother Robert, who has done the flowers in the cathedral for over 20 years. And when we were in there working on the high altar, and we just said Macon needs to have something like this. Mary's Chapel, or the special altar that honors the Mother of God, was designed and decorated by Holy Cross Greek Orthodox Church here in Macon. The ladies came in and very elegantly used peace lilies or spath lilies, fern, baby's breath, and white roses and traditional lilies in decorating Mary's altar. The centerpiece, in addition to the beautiful statue that is traditional here at St. Joseph's, is a wonderful icon that is a treasure in their church, which they're sharing with us these few days. This morning there will be 2 baptisms, and we just feel extremely blessed that they're sharing this sacred moment with our congregation. And the baptismal font is centered in Mary's Chapel, so there will be memories for this family to treasure the rest of their lives. The beautiful Sacred Heart Chapel was decorated by Jim Tunn and Nan Williams from St. Paul's Episcopal Church, one of the older Episcopal congregations in the city. They have just done a magnificent job using anthurium, acacia, which is the little yellow flowers. There are tiny stems of orchids that almost look like butterflies flying up there. Beautiful purple plumosus, and then some small anemones, I think, and also alstroemeria and orange carnations. So it just highlights all the beautiful colors in the mural that surrounds the altar and complements the statue of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. We're thrilled that they're a part of this show. The alcove featuring our old traditional statue of St. Joseph, which we think was moved here from the earlier St. Joseph Church, is highlighted and decorated by the Flower Guild at St. Peter Claver Church, our sister church here in Macon. It features beautiful stems of fresh ginger, highlighted by roses in an orangey red color, beautiful lilies, stems of green cymbidium orchids, also stems of Monte Cassino, and the purple agapanthus. There are stalks of delphinium, purple delphinium, and also green ruscus. And then the curly willow that just acts to surround and accent the whole arrangement. The gentlemen that did this, Greg and Stuart, just have done a magnificent job. And it just shows one way of honoring our patron saint, St. Joseph, who usually is featured with a lily or a staff that blossoms into a lily in his hand. And it was appropriate for them to use the lilies in the arrangement. The lily, of course, stands for purity of heart, which is, St. Joseph was the perfect example of that, in being the earthly father of Jesus. Members of our Flower Guild here at St. Joseph's kind of waited to see where we had some openings of places that we felt needed to be filled for the flower show. And last night, one of the last things that we did was to put together this arrangement of red roses, seeded eucalyptus, leather leaf, and gypsophilia, or commonly known as baby's breath. And we arranged this this is the first baptismal font that was used for years in baptizing infants and adults here at the church. The gentleman that really wanted us to feature this is a Marine veteran, so we felt it appropriate to have it by the American flag, and for all the servicemen that we've been praying for through all the conflicts over the years. We also filled the 12 consecration candles that are featured around the walls of the church and in the sacristy. They're a mix of flowers with orange lilies, yellow Fuji mums, Irish bells of Ireland, and the berries just from red nandina that grow profusely here throughout Georgia. Sacred Heart window that features St. Margaret Mary Alacoque is a wonderful mix of summer into fall flowers done by Harriet Durkee of Vineville United Methodist Church. It features green Fuji mums, yellow Fuji mums, deep orange blackout lilies, purple statice, tiny white daisy-like Monte Cassino, seeded eucalyptus, tiny green button mums, and yellow gold cushion little tiny mums. The Gerber daisies help pull all the colors together. And then there's this kind of green bottle brush fern involved in it. It's a beautiful mix of colors. The eryngium, this purple-blue thistle-like flower, adds a different texture. And as people stand and really look at how these arrangements are put together, this is a wonderful example of a mix of color and textures, all for the honor and glory of God. This beautiful mix of rainbow of colors that is done in the Assumption window was completed by Rosalind Platt from Vineville Baptist Church. She and Harriet Durkee, who was from Vineville United Methodist, who has the arrangement in the Sacred Heart window directly across from the Assumption window, did these as companion pieces. This one also includes beautiful Gerber daisies, green and yellow Fuji mums, tiny green button mums that are so fresh, help pull it all together. Monte Cassino, the tiny daisy-like flowers, eryngium, the thistle flowers. There are orange knockout lilies that accent all these colors, just pull out the colors in this window, especially as the sun is coming through it this morning. Just beautiful, beautiful colors. Rosalind and I talked a long time last night about their exhibit at their church at Christmas of the little creches and the manger scenes. So I'm anxious to visit next year and to see that. This arrangement also incorporates purple status, and the purple just helps to pull all the colors together. She has done just a fantastic job. There's seeded eucalyptus, a natural evergreen here that adds texture and life to the arrangement. The yellow button mums just pop all the color. It's just a beautiful prayer. This is Connie Menendez from Christ Church, one of the oldest churches in Macon.
And we were very fortunate to have the frame donated to us. It has 9 baskets, and if you look at the painting up above it, we tried to pick up the colors of the flowers to correspond to the painting.
Which is the Last Supper. Can you tell us about the different flowers that you used in the Tree of Life?
Well, we have hydrangeas, and we have lilies, and of course we have the little carnations, and I can't remember the name of this, but it's very, it has leaves, and we cut off all the leaves so that we would just have the
is it aspidistria? Is that what that is?
It
aspidistria.
is. Aspidistria. Okay. And then the blue hemlocks, which you probably cannot see from that distance, but we were trying to pick up the colors of the painting.
Oh, and they do. It just works into the blues and the purples perfectly.
Yes.
How many ladies helped?
Probably about 5 ladies were here yesterday, but Mary Pinson put all of the flowers in, and the rest of us critiqued. So
she was a brave woman.
Yeah, she was a brave lady, and she did a wonderful job.
She did.
She did a really
I love
wonderful
this
job.
miniature magnolia leaves in the base.
Aren't they wonderful? And they came from Mercer.
It's just fantastic.
I hope people enjoy it.
I think they will.
Yes,
it's a wonderful prayer to the Lord. The pair of brightly colored arrangements on either side of the sacristy were gifts to us, done prayerfully, joyfully by First Presbyterian Church Flower Guild. Ellen Danner and Phyllis Gamble spearheaded these beautiful arrangements. They're a mix of just color, showing God's glory at its best. A mix of beautiful, bright red roses, some of the reddest I think I've ever seen. The orange lilies, yellow Asiatics, green Fuji mums, Gerber daisies in this bright magenta color, yellow glads. They told me that they found the stalks of forsythia, and then they forced some quince, which is this branch of tiny pinkish peachy buds that are accenting the coming of spring. The white tulips, of course, traditionally tulips mean perfect love, and you see these so often around Easter along with all the lilies. There are green glads, colorful snapdragons that have yellow and pink in them that pull it all together. Alstroemeria, just gorgeous, gorgeous textures and colors, all for the honor and glory of God. The arrangement in front of St. Patrick was done by the members of our Flower Guild here at St. Joseph's. It's a mix of Irish colors, the deep orange knockout lilies, green Fuji mums, tiny green button mums, and of course the flower of Ireland, the bells of Ireland. And each of these little bells has a little tiny white flower that blooms out in them. So we did a mass of those here. And then there's also this real interesting brushy fern and the traditional leather leaf that we incorporated into it. We hope everyone enjoys it. It's our Irish prayer for St. Patrick this week. This is the statue of St. Ignatius Loyola, a Jesuit. You'll notice in his book is Ad Majorem Dei Gloriam, for the honor and glory of God. The Jesuits, of course, were instrumental in building St. Joseph's. And the arrangement to honor him was done by Edie Hardy from our Flower Guild. It features beautiful orange roses and curly willow, and just the natural, beautiful green foliage on the roses. All for the honor and glory of God. This asymmetrical arrangement honors St. Vincent de Paul, who is famous in the church and without of the church in starting ministries for orphans and to help the homeless. You may have heard about the new center that will be starting in Macon, and this is the patron saint of that effort. This arrangement is offered to us by Washington Avenue Presbyterian Church, and Joan Walton takes care of the Flower Guild there. I think this arrangement was done by Joy with Jean & Hall Florist, and it's just a beautiful asymmetrical arrangement of pink Gerber daisies, kind of a mauve, pink, Asiatic lily, some purple wax flowers, miniature purple carnations, tie leaves, ruscus, fern, the exotic greenery here just adds another texture in, and these liatris give it some height and pull all these beautiful colors together. Steve Gonzer with our Flower Guild here at St. Joseph's put this beautiful arrangement together last evening. It's a mix of anthurium, green Fuji mums. The deep purple carnations are tucked away and add interest that kind of pulls you into the arrangement to look at it. Pulls all the colors together. The gold kangaroo paws are a different texture and just really accent the anthuriums. It's done in a beautiful Asian-looking vase of traditional blue and white on a yellowware background. So it works so well with the window of St. Vincent de Paul and St. Peter Claver. Works into the purple, very masculine-looking arrangement. First Baptist Church of Christ, our neighbor across the street here on Poplar Street, has gifted us with a beautiful, gorgeous arrangement for the front porch of the church. But they also have done in this Chinese fishbowl this tribute to St. Anthony of Padua. And St. Anthony is usually pictured with a white lily and holding the baby Jesus. Their arrangement is beautifully done with green Fuji mums, little clusters of a feathery pink flower here in back, pink carnations, and calla lilies that have a hint of pink to them. The fern and the spring rye fern, of course, grow naturally through Georgia and just add accent and texture and openness, springtime, to this arrangement. And we thank Catherine Baker and her group of ladies in their flower guild for the fantastic arrangement on the front porch that they used greenery from in their yards, as well as this arrangement honoring St. Anthony, who is the patron saint of finding things that are lost. So those of us who grew up in the Catholic Church grew up with the beautiful legends surrounding him, which I personally believe are true, in saying a little prayer to him if you lose your keys, or you lose something of value and you would like for him to help you find it. This arrangement of pink roses, red roses, green Fuji mums, salal, and some deep orange blackout lilies at the top, as well as this bottlebrush fern, are in honor of Saint Teresa of Lisieux. She is also referred to as the Little Flower. Last week at St. Joseph's, we lost one of our parishioners, Walter Wilson, who had a very deep devotion to Saint Therese. He would very often do his own arrangement of roses and leave them in a vase back here at her feet. So the pink roses are from an arrangement that we did in honor of Walter, and then added some red roses, did them in a Victorian pedestal vase that has little roses, so they seem to fit with Saint Therese just perfectly. All for the honor and glory of God. This striking, colorful arrangement was given to us by Von Seal Tarver and Stacia Whitby of First Baptist Church on New Street. They chose this location because of the beautiful windows that are a tribute to St. Teresa and St. Bridget, and worked with Jean and Hall Florist to create this just gorgeous triangular arrangement that picks up all the colors in St. Teresa and St. Bridget's windows. It features all the primary colors that just blend together beautifully and pull out all the color in the windows, which were the inspiration for this arrangement. Bright orange lilies, yellow sunflowers, bright red Gerber daisies, yellow Fuji mums, the stalky flowers that give height and dimension to the arrangement that are in a deep purple, as well as the lighter redder purple. It also features grasses here, and then the curly willow. St. Bridget was Irish, and so we have the bells of Ireland. And then the hypericum berries add another texture, as well as the yellow. Some people refer to it as goldenrod. but it adds another texture, a beautiful triangular shape to give depth to the arrangement. It's just such a gift to be here in front of these windows, all for the honor and glory of God.
The design of the arrangements on the high altar was first used during the flower festival that St. Joseph's attended in Savannah at the Cathedral of St. John the Baptist in honor of Brother Robert Sokolowski's 70th birthday, and that took place on Memorial Day weekend of 2011. The arrangements themselves are a combination of white calla lilies, apricot-colored roses, and red long-stem roses. The long pieces of greenery coming out of the arrangements that provide an accent are actually called silverfish. They are a common plant used by highway departments along the embankments of interstate highways. There are also some other common greenery included in these arrangements, such as red tip greenery and cherry laurel, which is a wild plant that grows in the woods in central Georgia.
The grouping on either side of the main altar where Mass is celebrated was done by the ladies in the Flower Guild at Mulberry Methodist Church. Each arrangement is beautifully done and compatible in size with the large brass candelabra. Amy Deaver and Kay Wangan were responsible for these, and they're a mix of bird of paradise, ginger, and kangaroo paws, as well as some grasses and split-leaf philodendron that are worked into a base covered with a natural moss. The elegance, the simplicity of them is outstanding and just opens up this area of the altar. It's a transition statement between the large arrangements done by First Presbyterian and the high altar that was completed by the Flower Guild here at St. Joseph's. All for the honor and glory of God.
And praise to our God, who alone gives life to our day. Many are the blessings he bears to those who trust in his ways. Glory and praise to our God, who alone gives life to our day. Many are the blessings he bears to those who trust in his ways. Be the daughters and sons of him who built the valleys and plains. Praise the wonders our God has done in every heart that sings. Glory and praise to our God, who alone gives life to our days. Many are the blessings he bears to those who trust in his ways. In his wisdom he strengthens us like gold that's tested in fire. Though the power of sin prevail, our God is there to save. Glory and praise to our God, who alone gives life to in his way.